Welcome everyone to our 52nd annual bull sale, Hill 70 Quantock barn burning bull sale, 400 bulls. It's a little cold out today, so we're doing all these welcomes in the sale barn. Just seems a little easier. Minus 34 and a touch of wind. My ears get a little chilly after a while, but on behalf of all our families, we welcome everyone here. It's a great day. And it's a great day to be in the cattle industry. We've seen a bit of a tough go this year with weather and water, and not enough water in our area, but I know we'll all get through it. And our bulls are here. Come take a look. We'll walk through them right now and give you a pretty darn good idea of what they all look like and talk about all our programs through the whole video. So let's go for a walk.
Things have been good around the ranch here this year. At times, it can be a little challenging here with the weather. It didn't quite rain as much as what we like. Feed is always tight, but you know, things are pretty optimistic. We'll get some rain here in the spring and things will be back to what they were in the past couple of years around home, where you can grow 10-ton silage and your corn silage looks like $1 million. You know, as far as what we did day to day, it really didn't change too much. We moved cows around a little more than what we probably would have used to, but no, things have been good. Every day's tour day around the ranch here. We always have either Con, myself, or Bill around the yard. Be geared up for a sale Saturday, February 5th of 2022. We'll get things going around 12 noon. We start serving lunch at 11. Things are looking good for everybody around home here. We got live entertainment after, so if you're looking for a rodeo pop or just want to sit down and BS with your neighbor, be sure to come on out. It should be a good time. Yeah, 400 bulls and 100 females on offer. So look forward to having everybody there. If you need to get in touch with us, either myself, Bill, or Connor, the easiest way is the 1-800 number. So that's 1-800-665-7253.
All right, we're gonna get into these Hereford bulls here. I think Dad's gonna take us away on them.
Yeah, this is kind of the breed we started in. My father was in it, and we're still going strong, selling 55 bulls a year through our sale, both horned and polled. We realized a long time ago in this Hereford breed that Herefords had to do a lot of things, do them all in moderation, and do them all right. We need performance, we need mothering ability, we gotta have udders in Herefords, and we gotta have some doability in them.
Yeah.
And you know, especially on a year like this with limited resources, feed resources, Herefords do a very good job. Our Hereford bulls have converted a lot of people over the years just because they so much dimension to them. They got natural thickness and depth and some muscle in them and a lot of pigment. But there's a lot of people and ranches that have left our sale barn not thinking about buying a Hereford bull, but gone home with one and then come back year after year and bought them. And it's really not that hard raising or breeding Herefords. Number one, you cull them hard, you get rid of the crap. You guys laugh.
Not wrong.
And have a goal in mind in your program that suits the commercial industry. Not just one segment of it, the whole thing, whether you're crossing them with Charolais, Simmentals, Angus, whatever.
Oh yeah, what's the come home to Hereford thing?
Yeah.
You know, they're talking about, and I mean, there's a reason why Hereford cattle at one time were, you know, the main option for everybody, and they did a lot of things well, and, you know, made good mother cows, and you know, terminally did a good job. And I think that these bulls, again, you know, this is a really good option here. You look at the shape and dimension of these bulls as they walk by you, and like Dad said, lots of pigment there. I mean, there's lots of options here to make either baldy females or, you know, steer calves that you want to feed, you know, without having to sacrifice anything. And we've all heard the jokes about Herefords, and, you know, they're kind of worn out. Most of those cattle have been done away with a long time ago, but like Dad said, I guess we're kind of traditionalists, and you know, even though we're traditional that way, I think these bulls are pretty modern and right for the time. So
Yeah, no, and just going along with that, I think a lot of people kind of get hung up on thinking that their kind is always the best kind, but we've always tried to raise Herefords with the commercial cattleman in mind, and I think that's kind of where the breed has kind of had a bit of disillusion, where some guys that kind of get lost in kind of their own direction, but it's been good. It's a breed that's given a lot back to Con and I and Dad. There's a lot of optimism in it here in the next couple of years. And then too, you go look at some bred heifer sales every year. Everybody talks about how much they love baldy females. They forget how they get a baldy female in the beginning. So it's been very rewarding the past couple of years breeding them and having a lot of fun with it. So
Good Hereford Bulls will pay you big dividends.
Yeah.
And the one thing about a Hereford Bull, especially these ones, they have never been pushed. So you're going to buy a bull, he's still going to be going when he's 8 years old if you want to keep him that long. And our turnover time in Herefords is really, from a perspective of guys selling bulls, too long. We should be turning them over to you every 3 years.
Yeah,
but
well,
that doesn't happen.
Our disadvantage is your gain. So.
Yeah, they just last a long time. So when you consider what they cost on a per service basis, it's really very cheap.
Pretty economical.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you look in the back of the book here, I forget where it is. I think page 70 or 69 in there. We got a breakdown of how all these bulls kind of sold last year. And, you know, I think there's a lot of value with these bulls, especially. I mean, if you can come in here and buy bulls all day long at, you know, 5,000 to 8,000 kind of thing for really, really good bulls, you know, and then Dad said these bulls, they just go on forever. There's a tremendous amount of value there.
Mm-hmm. You gonna take charge here, Bill?
I'll take charge, yep. We'll run.
Whichever direction you go, go confident.
Yeah, don't I always take charge?
More times than you should.
Yeah. That's just a generational thing. You guys don't worry about that shit.
We're not hearing any comments about the corrals here this year either. So.
No. No, my wood corrals, I still got them at painting, so they're okay.
Yes.
Anyways, we're into
What
these
you were saying this spring.
Red Angus 2-year-old bulls here. There's 90 of them, nearly 100, I guess the boys tell me, but
95, yeah.
through all of them, really a uniform set. Bulls that are just raised to last a long time. They're turned out to grass as yearlings, and you know, they're not fat. They come in the fall, in October, and we start to put them on feed, but they're gently developed. Their feet are good. We never trim them, and they've got some butt end in them. Mm-hmm. Nothing I hate worse than Red Angus that are tall and flat-sided, and might as well be using some other red breeds. If you're going to do that, use a Red Angus to put some dimension and some girth and some doability in them.
If you're looking for just calving ease with absolutely nothing else, I mean, use a Coriani or something. But these bulls will give you all the calving ease that those bulls have. You know, maternal ability, some thriftiness.
Yeah.
You know, big-bodied, big-middled bulls here with some look too. I mean, they're going to give you fancy calves and lots of shape, lots of pounds. So they do lots of good things. Lots of calving ease bulls in here, like I had said, and then a nice mix too of bulls that are kind of, you know, big performance bulls that, you know, do have a little bit more birth weight. They're maybe not strictly a heifer deal.
They've got the horsepower though to beat a Simmental bull, some of these Red Angus.
Yeah.
Within certain sire groups. So if you're looking for that, they can definitely fit the bill that way. Some of these blockades are definitely more of a heifer bull candidates. Here's another standout one this year. A few 986 sons that was our high seller to White Ranches a couple of years back that look really, really nice. Honestly, a lot of these bulls go back to kind of the same bloodlines, and so if you're looking for a little more jam into them, I think with Red Angus, the Red Angus breed, it's a harder and harder thing to find, and I think we do a really good job of it consistently. You watch the pen as you watch them go by.
I mean, I like our own cattle.
Yeah, we're all a little biased.
If I thought we were lost, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. But.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are just kind of my kind of bulls. I mean, I like, you watch them look at you here and they walk at you at 3/4 angle. You know, there's lots of shape and some barrel over their top like that.
And if you're looking for an outcross on Red Angus, these bloodlines are almost totally different than what you're going to find in most sale books all spring in Western Canada. We went our own way. We're not scared to do that. Found what works. Found some bloodlines that really work, that made us, you know, beautiful udders and dimension and things like that. And we've used it hard. We've used lots of half brothers, and you'll see that in the catalog. If you're in the purebred thing, there's some bulls in here you probably want to consider, because it's getting kind of wound tight in the rest of the world in the Red Angus thing. So look at some of these bulls, and even in a commercial trade, if you've been using Red Bulls for a long time from the same bloodlines, take a look at some of these guys. They will almost give you hybrid vigor.
Yeah. Yeah, and lots of options here too. Lots of half and 3/4 and even some 7/8 brothers. When we find a bull that works, we try to use them. We AI, get big sire groups so we can compare, across a big contemporary. And if they work, all the better. We try to breed, like bred females to an individual bull if we like that matchup.
There's no just the first 20 through the gate get bred to that bull.
No, they're all, picked.
It's a little time consuming in the spring, but it works.
Yeah, I think we get the result from it, and I think the bulls here speak for themselves. To have bulls that are outcross, from the rest of the breed, but give you lots of options too on sale day. I mean, if you want to come in and put together a group of 3/4 and whatever brothers, I think that's a pretty cool thing that you could take home, potentially 3, 4, 7, or 3, 4, 5, 7/8 brothers.
Well, there's outfits come by 10, 12 bulls some years, so you know what? Not many places you can go do that.
You want a consistent calf crop, if you're going to take whatever 7-8 bulls and turn them out with a group of cows, and each one's going to sire 20, 25. Holy smokes, there's 400 and some calves that are pretty closely bred.
Look at the back end in these bulls as they leave the ring. They all look the same. They got some top, and they really got some hip in them.
Something that's really interesting to take advantage of would be our 60/40 finance program. It's 0% financing, helps you spread out your cash flow through the year. And just talk to us on sale day or after the sale. If you do buy sight unseen, we can help you work through that. All that we require is just, if it's sight unseen, 60% down on delivery, or on sale day if you are here, and the remaining 40% to come in July of that year. We understand it's obviously kind of been an interesting year, so just talk to us. We can make a lot of things work, and it's something to really think about to help you, spread out your cash flow throughout the year.
We're going to go right into these Black Angus 2-year-olds. About 70 of these bulls, same as the Reg, large sire groups, and just so consistent from end to end. You could be buying in the top 10% or buying from the middle, and your difference is just so minuscule. They got lots of length and girth and back end. They're just beef bulls.
Yeah, if I would have to say, what kind of separates these bulls as we're making sale order and stuff, I mean, there's bulls that are selling in the back, 10 to 15 that body-wise look as good as the bulls that are selling in the top 15.
Right.
The bulls in the top 15, typically they kind of drive the birth weight under 75 and the weaning weight above 750. And even the bulls in the back 15, they're not giving up anything that way. There's just bulls that are, kind of in that 6 to 650 pound range, weaning weight wise.
That's right.
Really consistent tight bred group here again, with lots of different options, within each sire group.
But sire groups that have worked for us, though. We're not, like we said with the other breeds, we're not trying a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's something that's just proven pretty practical. It doesn't need to be hard. Make it easy.
Yeah.
We don't show bulls, so these guys are all kind of bred with the same thing in mind for the commercial trade. Our real goal in the whole thing is like to have a great barley crop. You're not out there looking for one head that
looking beautiful.
Yeah, out in 160 acres that stands 6 inches taller than the rest. No, you want the whole thing to be even, level, and full. And this is a hell of a barley crop here. These bulls.
Yeah, I mean, we got the same thing in mind. When you go to sell your calves, you don't want to have a pen at the back end that you had to sort out because there are a bunch of runts and whatever. I mean, these bulls will give you consistency and give you good calves all the way across. So.
Yeah, just like his dad said with some of these other groups, just watch them go by. Just as far as having some look, having some body, and having some muscle, they just check the boxes. They calve on their own. We don't get going here. It's probably the 10th of April every year, so she's pretty much 20th of April.
How the hell were you on turnout day?
Angus cows come a little quicker sometimes.
Short gestation, but they're which again helps drive the birth weight down on them. think that these Angus bulls do a good job of just, you know, being like cats. You give them feed and tag the calves and weigh them, and away
Yeah.
they go.
Sherry and I have calved these black cows for the last 2 years. Last year we had 38 heifers. We helped one heifer. The rest of them we just counted and put a tag in. And the cows were the same way. One assist on those cows out of the whole bunch, and just let them calve, tag them, and sort them out to the next field, and away we go.
Yeah, good mothers too. I mean, with Angus cows, it's
Yeah.
a treat when you're sorting pairs and doing stuff. They grab that calf, and they know what they're doing. They're do a good job raising them.
This will be the last year some of these Leachman Courage sons in the sale. A few new sire groups with this Ever Black Night Train bull. Just as far as Dad talked about some muscle and some dimension, and still having some look about him too. Definitely think a viable candidate if whatever your scenario is. A few more rain dances. They were really popular last year. Just as far as putting some extra length and some pounds, and then talked about saying curve benders before. Low birth weight and high growth. Those ones are about as good as anything that way.
Yeah, drive the birth weight down, and then they just grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And you know, not out of control. I mean, the cows do a good job of them, but you can see they put some weight on pretty quick. So.
And we calved our first rain dance daughters this year, and as 2-year-olds,
They're
Yeah.
pretty nice.
they're pretty nice. There's not many people drive by our ranch at Painton because the road ends, but most people that do, they stop and take a look at those 2-year-old heifers that are up against the highway.
The 203 is a super highway.
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
super highway heading to the Battle River.
Yeah.
If you're elk hunting, that's probably where you're heading.
That's the spot. All roads lead to Painton.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just let these bulls walk here, and you can appreciate them for what they are, and kind of how we've been talking about them. I think, you know,
Velocities?
velocities, yeah, and then here's some calving these bulls, these pink tag sons. You know,
Go back
those
to
are
two
all out of
innovations.
2-year-olds.
Yeah.
All out of 2s.
So there's, you know, and here's a 1377 son here.
This mama cow had a high seller a couple of years ago, so half brother to that bull.
Yeah, a lot of these bulls, when they start out in the black program, we use them on heifers the first year, and you know, we like them, and they make good daughters, and the bulls look good. They quite often get moved on to cows. There's not a whole lot of Angus bulls that I could say that we bought that, you know, wouldn't be heifer suitable, if any.
That's right.
So, like we were talking before, just kind of the versatility of the Angus breed, and these bulls in particular, that's bred into them. Another rain dance here, and
That's out of 1231.
Yeah.
So there's an old.
yeah, I think she's 10 or 11.
Oh
anyways.
yeah, older than that maybe.
Still cutting it though.
Keeps going.
What did Grandpa Frank say? That if everybody thought the same, they'd all want my wife. So
Yeah.
I guess we're probably a little biased towards these ones, but we're pretty dang proud of them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. So they're a nice set of bulls. I think you guys will appreciate them on sale day, and
Yeah.
if you come and have a look beforehand.
Yeah, you're all welcome anytime, any day. We don't have any special show days for people. Just show up in the yard. It's nice if you phone us ahead of time, but just so that we're not blowing straw all over the place and bedding them and doing things
every
like
day can be
that.
tour day.
Every day is tour day.
Yeah.
And just come on out.
Coffee's on and the cooler's full. Love
Yeah.
to show you guys around.
We're guaranteed to have better weather.
No, and Dad talks about the consistency and just watch them go. It's even though there's a few more sire groups because we have big enough cow herd, it's pretty hard to tell them apart one from one. So
Yeah.
no, watch them walk too. There's no fat pones around these bulls' tail heads. We just try to keep them pretty fresh is the main goal with them.
And
nice-
that's
you-
it. Sorry, no. When we
you go
feed
ahead.
these bulls, I mean they're not pushed. I like cattle that'll get in and gain. I mean they got an appetite and they'll.
Cattle need to
grow.
gain. They go in a feedlot eventually.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than, you know, when you go to feed on something and they just kind of peter out and they're not really interested in bellying up to the feed bunk. And, these cattle have an appetite, and I don't know what you want to call it, but an efficient growth pattern. I mean, they're not going to eat you out of house and home, but boy, they, you know, if you want them to perform and do stuff, they'll certainly do it for you.
we don't raise the ones that we necessarily, we just think that these ones are better. We've taken our lessons from everybody we sell to, and they tell us what works.
Yeah.
That's kind of our motto, is how we breed our cows. So.
Yeah, we let our customer educate us, and that seems to be the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Follow their lead. They tell us what they want. We try to breed cattle that'll work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and every breeding decision we make, I mean, we do one thing, and that's sell bulls. So, you know, in service of commercial industry, and so every decision that we make, breeding decision and culling decision, it's all has that in mind, and with one focus for the first weekend in February, and as these bulls go out, you know, making sure that they're going to be useful for everybody.
And you come sale day, that's not the best day. That's the bulls. If you want to talk about the best they're ever going to look, that's not the best. It's when they're out breeding cows for you in the middle of the summer for years to come.
Yeah, their best days are in front of them, and they got a lot of years in front of them. They're developed right and developed with the long term in mind.
Yeah, we'd love to have everybody show up. Our barn is big. We got lots of room. We got lots of seating. We serve you lunch starting at 11 o'clock, and we keep feeding you all day. We don't put it away. There's some neighbor kids come because all they remember is how good the donuts are. And that's great. We welcome them all.
Stick around after, maybe a few rodeo pops, whatever you feel like.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, it's a big heated facility. We got flush washrooms, lots of parking. You know, it's a really inviting atmosphere. Come on out, and we'd love to have you out on sale day.
And theater chairs for the front row around the ring is pretty darn comfortable. If you get here soon enough to claim one of those, I know sometimes old bleachers get a little hard to sit on, but
it just comes with age, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it comes with age. Yeah.
So for as far as bull delivery goes, we start running a few routes here and right after the sale in February. And then after that, for the most part, people leave their bulls here on bull development. We start running those routes after the 1st of April. We get just about anywhere in Western Canada, and we can't get right to your yard, we'll get dang close. So we offer the best bull delivery option in the business. Be sure to give us a call whenever it works for you.
Dad's harassed me to be on my best behavior.
We'll go right into these big Charolais 2-year-olds.
You mean Bill? He's gonna poke the bear and push your buttons ever? Never, not my dad.
Doesn't sound like my dad.
Anyways, just 50 of them. There's red factor bulls, there's white bulls. Most of them are polled. They've never had their feet trimmed, and they're very manageable kind of bulls, whether you manage them on a horse or on foot or whatever.
Yeah, they've seen it all now. Little kids, dogs, side by sides, horses, wives, everything. So
that's right. And length of body, you know, I don't have to tell you what Charolais bulls do in the commercial trade on cows. We've actually, our cows that go into community pasture, we breed them to our own Charolais bulls and calve them right out in the open with our Angus cows. Birth weights are a little bit bigger on them, but nothing that...
Very manageable.
Nothing out of bounds.
No.
I mean,
we never assisted. We assisted one cow in 2 years. So, I mean, you're going to have a little bit of grief no matter what you do. You could be breeding them to a Dexter, and you'd probably have to help.
We even had a Dexter cow have a Charolais.
Yeah, we've got a few of those.
Yeah, when Dad says grief, he doesn't mean, you know, grief as in you're going to use these bulls and have, you know, headache or nothing like that. I mean, it just, you can't do nothing about a backwards one and stuff like that. But these bulls are set up for, you know, range deals, ranch deals, whatever. Whenever you want to calve them, they're versatile. You know, they're going to work nice for you that way. You know, and I think about, boy, what a good opportunity to put a whole bunch of buckskin calves. Like Dad said, there's 50 of these big guys and then another 35 yearlings. You know, lots of options here and very reasonably priced bulls. You know, if you started plucking away at these bulls, if you wanted to use white bulls in a, you know, Angus-based cow herd or whatever, terminally.
Well, it doesn't take long. Go look at all the calf reports in the fall. 10 calves they're worth a premium.
Yeah.
And the Charolais breed does a good job of advertising. Be identifiable. There is no doubt about it when a tan one comes in that obviously this is what it's by.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they always sort to the top. You look at all the show lists and everything, they're always the first ones to sell. So, you know, talk about just trying to generate more cash on what you have for cows. I mean,
Yeah, here's your ticket. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you can, like we said, use them, have no trouble. And these bulls are not pushed hard. They'll last for you.
I mean, you look at the briskets. These bulls are not pushed bulls. They're
No.
Just fresh looking is what we kind of shoot for.
John Gilchrist in Ontario, he had 2 Charolais bulls, and he phoned me a year ago. He says, "Do you think I should start trading them in?" And I said, "Well, John, how old are they?" "Well," he says, "I think one's 8 and the other's 9. Well, you did pretty well. If you can get Charolais bulls to do that, and that's kind of
a telltale of how they're managed
Yeah.
and developed and everything. They're, you know, no doubt. I mean, the price range on these guys is maybe up a little bit on the average from the others, but you know, I think when you can get, you know, the extra years out of them, you know, it still pays. So, and like talking about development on these bulls, I mean, there's lots of hair on these bulls. They're shaggy, you know, for the most part, and you know, just fresh, kind of healthy hair coats. They're not overfed. They're not slick haired. They're you know, ready to go out and see the real world.
And they got enough, you know, there's lots of dimension to these Charolais bulls, lots of length.
Yeah,
And
heavy
that's
structured.
What you want, I think, when you're breeding them to British type cows. You know, you use these bulls to stretch them out and put some pounds in them.
Yeah, I can imagine a whole bunch of soggy tan calves by a bull like this. And I think everybody is, you know, pretty well accepting of that, but that's pretty much the best way to generate some more cash out of commercial cows. So.
We can just sit and watch some of these bulls there as they walk by us. I think they pretty much tell the tale of what we're selling and what we're doing, and we've sold them for a long time. They've done a good job. You can rest assured we'll stand behind them 100%.
It's all labeled in the sale catalog too. If you're concerned about horn, skirt, if they're polled, which ones are polled and what you got to worry about. But I would say a very big percentage of them are clean, smooth polled. So if you're looking for that, there's obviously that advantage. Here's a bull that cooperative herd Kevin Stibileski, that C240 he had used on a group of heifers. So if you're looking for a Charolais heifer bull potentially, I guess there's one for you. That's awful nice. But no, it's just a really solid set of bulls here this year, especially within these Charolais, just as far as having some growth, body, and then like we talked about earlier with the Angus bulls, it's a lot more fun to enjoy looking at them, have some bit of look, have a bit of class to them. So no, it's been a good ride.
These buggers here usually chase out the whole works, but me and Lane got back from having dinner and they had bust out of the holding pen and found their way to the feed yard. So anyways, they come back in.
Next we'll go into the Charolais Yearlings. There's 35 of these. Pretty near all polled, hairy, a lot of dimension, quite a few new sire groups in these bulls. If you take a look through this shot of all of them, very little difference in them. They got some middle in them. They'll make excellent Charolais bulls. You get an extra year out of them. They cost you a little less than your 2-year-olds, you know, but these guys will still handle lots of cows. If you don't get quite enough 2-year-olds, you could move and buy a yearling or two, but they just look after them a little different, a little better after you're done with them, and they'll be excellent
even
value.
that though, Dad, like these bulls go to some of the biggest ranches in Canada.
Yeah.
There's an outfit in BC that, what did they buy last year?
Yeah, lots of
A lot of them.
Yeah.
And they go to them, and then they go to the neighbor down the road who may only have a handful of cows, but they just seem to cut it. So it doesn't matter what the environment is, they seem to just flat out work. So, and working with Thurstons on this cooperative herd has just been an absolute treat. They're a great family to work with, and they do a better and better job each year. So it's very rewarding that way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
A really good set, and I think this is probably as good of a set of white yearling bulls, you know, across the board as we've had in quite a while. You know, and nothing against the other set of bulls. I just think that there's more quality top to bottom here. That again, you're going to be able to spread out your bids and spread out your options. You know, if you don't land on the one that you had picked first, you know, all the way 1 through 35, you're going to find bulls that work for you, both number-wise and to look at.
And on these yearling bulls, your best bet, well, all of them, is leave them on bull development. You can't feed them anywhere else for what we charge for bull development, especially this year. And we bring them to you in April. That's part of our theme this year, is save your feed. So buy these bulls, leave them with us till April. We semen test them before we deliver them, and by April, I'm not going to say you got green grass, but we're a heck of a lot closer to it than what we are today. So they won't burn up a feed stack at your place, they'll burn up ours first.
Yeah, and you can see Lane there moving these bulls around with his horse. I mean, again, really easy bulls to manage, and they just kind of get out here and enjoying the exercise and trying to stay warm. I think it was about -31 this day.
Dad and I were playing, we were away at Medicine Hat, had bulls on display down there, so we didn't get to enjoy the cold weather quite like Con did, but it was good.
Kind of hard to keep a camera running when it's like this.
Exactly.
Run back and forth to the truck every 20 minutes.
I think Dad still complained though as we were sitting in the barn that he was feeling a little bit cold though too, so I don't know.
Yeah, somebody told me it's warm in Medicine Hat, -29, yeah, you betcha. So, and they kept opening the doors. It was a great trade show, lots of attendance, but -29 kind of puts a damper on a lot of things.
Well, it'll be better for sale weekend. It'll be nice and warm. And we'll be ready for it for sure.
Yeah, we'll have burned up all our cold weather in the early parts of January, and by the time we get to February 5th, I got a deal with a weatherman that is going to be good weather. Guaranteed, you can mark my words on that.
Hell, there'll probably be leaves on the trees by mid-March this year, guys,
Yeah.
so green grass is coming soon.
Optimism is always great, but it doesn't always go the way we plan though either.
It will be warm sale weekend.
Yeah.
Take these white bulls back now, and then we're just going to get right into these hybrid bulls here. Have these Red Angus Simmental bulls come at you. And again, a few more in the offering this year. We're growing our numbers every year. Can't seem to buy a bull calf at calving time. We've been breeding, 100 and plus of them, these Red Angus cows to Simmental bulls, making these guys. And boy, if you can seem to get 30 bull calves and 70 heifer calves, that's kind of the status quo. So
Yeah.
they not short on quality though. I think when you watch these bulls go by, you'll find lots. And if you get into that pen, sale day, or if you want to come and have a look beforehand, there's lots of bulls here that'll work really, really well and are just pretty useful kind of bulls.
A couple new sire groups as well within the Red Sim Angus bulls. There's the Meadowacre sire, and then the bull we had bought from the Kuntz family there.
Yeah.
Super Duder, Matrix, whatever he is.
Yep. Yeah, just talk about some fleshing ability, and just having some foot and leg structure, and they're just kind of built to last. Very similar to what we've talked about in the other breeds, but I think more in the Simmental breed, that's kind of where we've really put a lot of focus in, and I think that will pay big dividends back.
Got a little extra chrome here. That's an extra added on option, but
Dane might like that one.
yeah, he's no slouch. So anyway, yeah, and the Simmental thing, the hybrid deal, really good option. There's more probably growth in the hybrid bull sales. You look across the country and acceptance. I mean, if you don't want to go to a full Simmental, really nice option here, and
Use these guys, they'll calve just about like an Angus.
Yep.
And you really won't see a lot of difference in the calves until midsummer, and then you start to notice it.
Yeah.
And by the time if you're selling cows in the fall, by the time you're selling them, you can definitely see there's Simmental in them, and order buyers will see that. They bring a little more value to the table.
And feedback from different people that are using these, that are feeding their own calves. Once you get them in on feed and doing stuff, there's some more horsepower there.
Yeah.
Take advantage
Over
of that.
straight bred cows.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then too, if you want to retain some females that have a little more jam to them, have a little more milk probably, they're not a bad bet.
Yeah.
So.
It's an easy crossbreeding system to work because you're not having to work a three-way thing. You just do this.
Yeah.
Take your calves, you can keep your heifers, your steer calves go straight to town. You're not having to continually rotate cows and bulls and things like that.
And all the data's here on these bulls. I mean, there's no multi-sire groups. And if there are multi-sires, they're DNA'd. We know who the sires are. Collect birth weights, all the performance data. So you have all the information to help you sort through them. you know, as compared to just a bunch of bulls that are sired by whoever. You know, I think that helps everybody, especially, you know, people that are buying these bulls year after year, helping make some breeding decisions as to who you have and whatever, to be able to buy half, three-quarter brothers, whatever, to keep that consistency. So the information's all there in the book and pedigrees and all that. So
Yeah, and just watch them go. It's pretty evident. Just a little more muscle, a little more jam to them, a little more thriftiness. Just easy doing, big-bodied bulls. So.
Yeah, I think we'll just let these bulls run by you for a minute. Black guys will be in here in a minute, but they're, again, really...
This is a big pussycat here, 2012. We had him in Medicine Hat. So he is actually halter broke.
So I'm here to talk to you about our repeat buyer program. Whether you bought bulls in the 2020 or the 2021 bull sale, come again this year in the Saturday, February 5th of 2022. Buy bulls, get a 3% discount on your total bull purchase. We're happy to have you. If you bring your neighbor along, save $150 off both your total bull purchases. It should be a great time. We'd love to have you out.
I'd just like to take a little time and talk to you about our sight unseen purchase program. We've done it for a long time. I can't remember the first years that we started it. Was I know, in a terrible storm when nobody could come, so we got on the phone and started phoning people. But basically the way it works is, if you call us and discuss your needs for bulls, we will go through the catalog with you, either Connor, Ted, or myself, and we know all these bulls like the back of our hand. We'll go through them, through what performance or what you're looking for, guide you, tell you which bulls will probably work, which bulls won't work for you, and then you set your budgeted price. We try to buy them through the ring at that, and every bull has a different price when he goes through the ring, so it's almost as good as being there. And we sell 40% of our bulls this way every year, and mostly to repeat buyers. There's people that have bought sight unseen for, 15 years, never been here. So it's tried and true. It'll work for you very well.
And we'll get into these black guys here now, and you know, same deal here. We're breeding a lot of cows this way, you know, using homozygous polled, homozygous black strip-face bulls to make them. And you look at this group, there's a handful of white-faced bulls. That seems to be the hardest thing to put onto them.
Yeah.
I mean,
If anybody knows how to predict, put a blaze face on and let me know. We've been trying our damnedest.
blaze faces aside, though, I mean, you look at the body type on these bulls and the muscle shape. This is a really, really nice set of bulls again. And I think, you know, as we talked before about retaining females or wanting to, you know, feed on calves or do whatever, these bulls here have a lot of value that way.
Yeah, you can use them on black cows or red cows or whatever, because they're black on both sides. We're not using a red blaze-faced bull or a fleck-face red bull on black cows to make these. These are black on both sides. They're homozygous. You won't have any trouble there.
Yeah,
They will sire black calves.
that's right.
And they're all polled, so branding time is pretty easy.
Don't need as big of a crew in the round pen or the table,
Yeah,
whatever you're
that's
on.
right. But if you just sit and watch these bulls or go look at them in the pen, sale day or come ahead of time, anytime, and take a look. They're really uniform, they're thick made. You know, they'll work in a whole bunch of situations. And the feedback on these guys is tremendous. People like using them. The calves are good. The bulls last a long time.
I think the only issue is we don't have quite enough of them every
Yeah,
year.
yeah, and we're expanding this part of our operation, but to expand it in a real quick, fast way is hard because, like I said with the Herefords, cull them hard and get rid of the crap.
Yeah.
And so we cull, whether it be these black cows that we use here or whatever, we're culling them hard.
Yeah. Neat thing too with these guys, I mean, they're kind of a more viable option for places that aren't traditional kind of Simmental country.
Yeah.
You know, kind of lower maintenance, lower input places, as compared to, you know, where some Simmentals you kind of think of, you know, a calving barn or whatever. Nothing wrong with that, but you know, if you're wanting to put a bit of Simmental into them and not let the milk get out of control, you know, and the inputs, these are a really, really nice option here. Most of these bulls are half bloods. There are a handful of 3/4 bloods in both the reds and blacks.
Kind of the same trend as the Hereford Bulls. I was talking to a fellow that bought 4 or 5 of them the one year up just a little bit north of us, and I said, how'd they work? I said,
These hybrid bulls?
Yeah, and I said, how'd they work? And he said, good, good. I was just wondering, you hadn't bought bulls the year following. Like I said with the Hereford Bulls, they didn't quit on them, and all he could tell me was they're great bush bulls. They don't slow down much, and they cover all his cows, and everything just works.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to go lay in the bush. I mean, they're developed nice, and you know, like Ted said, they cover lots of ground, but I mean, they're really easy to handle, and what did Dad call that last bull, a house cat or a pussy cat?
Pussycat, yeah. So then we'll go into Gelbay Red Angus, and these are all 2-year-olds. We have a bit of a limited offering this year, but can't do anything about that when you don't get that many bull cows.
Same story as with the Red
Same
Sim Angus
story.
were.
I don't know, we gotta change churches or do something a little different in some of these deals. But these bulls maybe have really kind of caught their stride in the last couple of years as a crossbreeding option for people. A lot more interest in them. They're solid red, a little bit bigger frame than your typical Red Angus bull, but a lot of dimension and a lot of power in them.
We've said it in the book lots of other years. You go look at these ones in the summer. This is hands down of all the breeds. These ones look as big and as burly as anything in the middle of the summer. So if you're going to sell calves right off the cow in the fall, this is a very good option. And then we've actually kept a few females back to go into the community pasture that we're in, and talking about just making some beautiful females with just problem-free udders, and you don't have to look at them too damn long. They just kind of figure it out.
Yeah, you go look at a show list on DLMS, and if you see red exotics that are selling well, I can pretty much tell you.
There's probably a good chance there's some Gelbay in them.
Yeah, big middle, big ended, stout structured bulls. These are just really nice option here if you're using them on red cows or buckskin cows, or you know, whatever you got in mind. Just they're good bulls. There's no two bits about it.
You gain your hybrid vigor, and it's simple and it's free.
Yeah, and then, you know, into these bred heifers here, we've got a few Red Angus Gelbay females, some Red Angus Simmental females, Black Angus Simmental females, purebred reds and blacks.
Sell them as commercials.
Yep, commercials, and some purebred Herefords in here. But, you know, again, there's no cutting out of here, you know, especially in the hybrid girls. They're sisters to the bulls, and I think there's a lot of quality here. So there'll be, close to 85 of these time we get to sale day, and we'll have them penned up in groups of 3, 4s, and 5s, really manageable groups. And same thing, you know, bred to low birth weight calving Red Angus bulls, exposed for 42 days, starting April 1. So nice tight calving window on them, you know, and all guaranteed bred, and you know, way they go ultrasounded back. And what was that?
Can't guarantee the weather, but I'm pretty sure it'll be nicer than last year. So.
At any point through the month of January, if you want to stop in, the coffee's always on. The bulls are all here and on feed. We'd love to show you around. That's probably the easiest thing to get acquainted with these bulls before sale day. Sometimes they can get a little busy in the pens, so like I said, at any point through the month of January, if you'd like to stop in, let us know, and we'll be here to look at bulls with you.
Thanks for taking the time to watch our bull sale video. You can go on our website at any time through the month of January or the first day of February to get updates on our bull sale. You can email us, go on Facebook, or if you don't use those, you can do the old-fashioned thing and just phone us on that 1-800 number. Better yet, stop at the ranch anytime, any day, and take a look at the bulls.
67.5.